Olivia has always been kind. As a child, she fed all stray dogs and cats. When she grew up, she began to do charity work. She couldn't refuse anyone and sometimes did good against common sense. She could give away all her salary to a drunkard who was lying to her that he needed it for treatment. And then she would save and starve for a whole month. Olivia worked for a small firm. Colleagues knew about her kindness and took advantage of it. After all, Olivia always helped to finish someone's work. Or she lent money and then, because of her kindness, wouldn't demand it back. After 5 years of work, she became the head of the department after a strict previous employee quit. Olivia gathered her subordinates and said, "We've been working together for a long time. I respect you all. I hope you respect me too. I want nothing to change in our relationship because we are a family." People applauded her speech and then dispersed to their workplaces. A week later, a girl came to Olivia and said that due to problems at home, she won't be able to finish the report on time. Olivia replied that it was not a big deal and she would happily complete the report for her. Other colleagues learned about it and people began to abuse it. Some have come up with excuses for their lateness and absences. Olivia believed and forgave everything. More and more people started doing their job poorly, and Olivia had to finish everything for them. She began to stay late at work and became very tired and would not get enough sleep. The colleagues relaxed completely. After all, you could do nothing, and then just invent a pitiful story and tell it to Olivia. Because of this, the department did not fulfill its tasks, which caused losses for the company. The director called Olivia. "You are a good worker, but a bad boss," said the director. "You need to care for your subordinates, but separate personal and work. Because of your kindness, your department will not receive a salary this month." Olivia was shocked. She even wanted to take out a loan and distribute the salaries to her subordinates. She recounted the conversation with the director to her subordinates, and they began to accuse her. They said she was a bad boss and was unable to organize the work properly, and everything is only her fault. Olivia realized what the director had told her, and she was glad that she did not take out a loan. From that day on, Olivia stopped being so kind and trusting. The work has improved. Everyone began to fulfill their duties again. After a while, the director met with Olivia and praised her for her good management of the department. She asked if she understood her mistake. Yes, it turns out that even kindness can be harmful if you do everything thoughtlessly. The director nodded and smiled. Do good the smart way. Share this video. As a tradition, every weekend, 6-year-old Chris and his parents went for a walk in the city. On the way, the family would always visit their favorite bakery. They would get something delicious to eat while walking. Chris liked the pies a lot and always chose only them. The boy was ready to give anything for his favorite treat. And every weekend, he looked forward to finally eating his favorite pie again. This time was no exception. Taking fresh pastry with him, Chris and his parents were walking slowly down the main avenue. They were going to eat what they had bought. Suddenly, the father stopped. He noticed a cute puppy and decided to show it to his son. The family came closer to the dog. Parents leaned over and looked at the puppy with delight. At that moment, the puppy was trembling with fear and hunger and couldn't get his eyes off the pie. A few seconds later, the parents got bored of this activity and they slowly moved on. Chris's mother called out, slightly turning around. "Honey, are you coming?" The kid said, "Yes, I'm coming." But he did not move from his spot. For a few minutes, he switched his hair from the puppy to the pie and back. The kid knew that there was the whole week ahead of him before he could enjoy his treat. But after a few moments, he approached the puppy and put the pie in front of him. Chris smiled and followed his parents. When his mother turned around again, she saw her son running to them. His hands were empty. She was surprised. "Where is your pie? Didn't you have it 2 minutes ago? Did you eat it already?" The boy turned his eyes away and said, "Yes, it was very tasty." Parents laughed, happy for their son's good appetite, and continued walking slowly through the alleys. Suddenly, Chris stopped. He heard a sound behind him. And the boy turned around and saw that puppy wagging his tail, running to him. He was carrying the whole pie in his teeth. Chris happily took the puppy in his arms, but then he paused. He looked up at his parents guiltily. He was afraid that he would be scolded for giving the food away. But Mom and Dad smiled. The father told his wife, I think we've managed to teach our son the main thing, love." Parents walked up to the boy and stroked the puppy over the head. Then the father sat down next to his son and said, "Now you've learned a very good and very important lesson, son. Remember it. One who's truly willing to offer his love will always be gifted with it in return. Love that comes from the heart is sincere. The one who truly knows how to love never wants to profit from it, and yet he's always rewarded in return." One shares what he has the most. There was an old lady selling apples at the market. One morning, her granddaughter asked her to take her to the market. "Okay, that would be great," said the lady. They came to the market and put their apples on the counter. The apples looked very beautiful and delicious. The old lady gave her granddaughter one of those apples, so the girl had no doubt that the fruit was so good. When a customer came up to their counter, the girl was happy, and the old lady smiled kindly. The customer stared at the apples arrogantly. "Did you collect only nice-looking apples in order to sell them for a higher price? And probably they're rotten inside. Well, fine. Give me some of your apples. Somebody has to buy them," said the customer. The old lady started folding apples with a smile, and the girl kept looking at the customer. She was afraid that her grandmother would be hurt by the customer's words, but the old lady was still happy. "Why do you look so scared?" asked the old lady with a smile. The girl explained that she was upset by the customer's words. "Why didn't you answer her back? The apples are good, in fact." Remember, everyone shares what they have the most. That woman must have a lot of anger in her heart. Maybe she gets hurt a lot, and that's why she shares anger with everyone. And there is no anger in my heart. That's why I can't answer her the same. I can only give her kindness and joy. And it's up to everyone whether to take the anger or not. A man gives to the world what he has in his heart. And if there is kindness and joy in your heart, you will spread around only these feelings, making the world a better and happier place with every single word you say.